Okay, so really just by way of background, in March 2016 we launched a new website using the Jadu CXM product and the XFP forms as our initial way of getting us on the road to having a website that was responsive, more user-friendly and better than the old website that we used to have. We launched it including a My Account facility. And we developed it to allow more options so that people could look at balance inquiries for things like council tax and housing rents. And to date we've had 12,000 customers who have signed up for the general My Account, and then 2,800 who have signed up for the more enhanced version where they can access, like I said, the council tax balance and housing rents, things like that. And in terms of the e-forms and the XFP, obviously we have developed, colleagues have developed over 100 XFP forms, and since April this year there's been 26,000 of them submitted online. So in line with some of the presentations we heard earlier, there's a thirst out there for this. We don't actually have to try too hard to get people to use it. They want this. This is what they want to do. This gives us the platform to do it. The last thing I'm just going to very quickly talk about is our business challenges. And so why would we use a product like CXM, which was the next stage of our development after the CSM and the XFP? Well, actually for us this was about completing the product set. It talks on there about the full 360 customer experience. And that was what we were really looking for, is something where customers could come, they could submit something, and then they could track it through as it progresses, and they get some feedback on what's going on. If I look back in our history, you know, we've had forms and things before, but people submitted it, and essentially it was a bit of a black hole that it went into, and they didn't get the feedback and didn't have the opportunity to see what was going on with it. All of the usual things that you would expect. We're looking to reduce transaction costs, reducing processing time, continue that channel shift, 24/7 reporting. It really doesn't matter whether we're in the office or not. People want to be able to go on and report things and access things at all sorts of times of the day and night, and this is what allows them to do it. It's a light workflow that's in there, and actually the timely responses and updates that you get in there. I'm now going to hand over to Peter. He's the person who really knows what he's talking about.
As Anton said, my name is Peter Large. I'm a Service Improvement Officer for Norwich City Council. The next two slides I'd like to go through just really our approach and about the knowledge transfer. It's not just about implementing CXM, it's about how we actually sustain that within the organisation and how we actually can manage the process ourselves, which Jadu have supported along the way. It was decided that we would develop and implement in 3 phases. The 3 phases were waste services, street scenes and business permits. Jadu led with NCC support, street scenes which was NCC led with Jadu support, and business permits was by ourselves. To be honest, it was a bit of a mixture of everything. Jadu had been there along the way. Anybody, I saw somebody from Herefordshire who worked with James, phone calls, emails, they respond, so it's been very good support. So there's a bit of a mixture of all those services. Why do we pick those areas? We're able to move the service request to a single platform. It's XFP to CXM, it doesn't then go back into a back office system. We use that platform for the waste services and for street scenes and business supports. The key services were high volumes. Anybody deals with street scene stuff, what do you pay your council tax for? It's refuse services and street scene stuff. It's the key service that the authority provides. Simple workflows, used externally, internally, and easy to transition. We can move the whole service and turn it off the other system. Probably if you've been involved in anything which is process mapping, we did workshops, mapping exercises with all parties. We involved customer contact team, IT services, area management officers. We involved as many people as we can. We did the brown paper exercise. Most of you were involved in that. We reviewed all our existing forms and our contact channels. Half of it is if you move it to another contact channels, you need to know where the customer comes in so you can turn it off. Customer contact team now use all our XFP forms. We've turned our scripts off on other back office products. They use the same form the customer uses, but it's the internal version, if those are, you know what that is. And the key bit for me, because I'm a bit of a data geek, and with anything, it's about getting the information out. If you don't capture it up front in your XFP form, move it to CXM, then you won't be able to get it out. And that's the key bit to this. You need to know what your outcomes are at the end of it. And through the process, we did start document activities to track resources. We do a what are you doing? So we look at the as is, we list all the lines of activity, and then we go to the stop doing. So we stop going to do that, and we're going to start using web form, and we use that to track the process. That's a workflow. We try to keep it simple and consistent. So I said we reviewed our existing forms, and where possible, we looked at how they. I think I had some homework. I think Richard Friend gave me some homework over last Christmas, which was to move 5 forms into one. We had 9 forms into one, and actually, even though we had mature XFP forms, we used the opportunity to review the forms we had, and with CXM in place, you can actually change that form and make it, and you learn as you go along. There are 4 steps. I think these are courtesy of Richard Friend, but these are 4 steps to implement CXM from an XFP. Basically, you review your current XFP forms, you document all the fields that you've got in your XFP form, you map your fields in your XFP form, you map them to your CXM fields. If it's not in CXM, then you can't see it. You're in 2 different areas. You build the CXM, XFP fields, CXM, and then actually the last thing you do is you build your workflow, because you need the fields there to build your workflow on afterwards. And the final step is you actually then link your XFP form to the workflow. Oh, I'm now going to go into a video. So somebody's actually selected a fly tipping form. They click next. So this is somebody filling an XFP form. We use a street search. We don't for things on the streets with an exact location. Basic date first seen. So back in June. And then there's some basic information that we require. Not all authority perhaps need this information, but this is what we need in our format. So Richard's filled in he's gone onto our website, he's filled in a fly tipping request form. They work the same if you did any of our street simuls, they all work exactly the same. And you submit the form. Upon submission, what it actually I've used an auto response email which is generated as a result of the XFP form, but within CXM you can do auto rules to send emails out. This is our dashboard, this is our live dashboard where Richard sent it to, so this is what our partners see. They still have something called a docket, which I call a chitty, but that's a PDF version of the form. Within XFP you can take the information and create a PDF version of a docket. So the information is taken out and created into a format which sometimes is quite useful. Your customers may want a copy of it. You can then, for those that are familiar with CXM, you've got the history of the case, and there's all the other functionality there, the detailed messages, isn't it? The actual process is what we call transformation, a transitional approach. So the approach was actually to get our partners and colleagues on board, but get us to a place where we wanted to be. So our partners' admin team managed the process. It was in one office, I was working down there, you could manage it, any problems resolved straight away. They allocated the work, the information was passed using the PDF docket, which was mirrored on their existing docket, but was a lot easier, it was all generated automatically. The service request was resolved, something was scraped up, removed, painted over, whatever that service request was, and then the details were passed back to by the officer for inputting it back into Jadu. That sounds punky, but it then gets us into the place where now we've got officers, EPA officers, who actually manage the process. The work is automatically allocated. The service request is action, resolved, cleared up, removed, and they update CXM. We went live, both services May 7th this year, streets, scene and services, and business permits shortly after that. Just over 5,000 CXM started, and we've got 17 CXM case types. The main split is refuse, it's quite a popular area. this year, it's quite popular, and flights have been very popular in Norwich.
Okay, so a few challenges in terms of putting this in, not the least of which was the fact that we'd already put the website and the XFP forms on our own hosted servers, and then when CXM came along, it's a hosted service, and linking the two of those up together and getting them to work together caused us a number of challenges. Migrating the customer accounts over from CMS to CXM again caused some challenges for us there. I remember there was a particular issue around the format of some web addresses, email addresses, and getting those sorted out. But to be quite honest, these are the sort of natural challenges that you expect on some of these types of projects, and they're the things that we have people who manage to work those things through and make them happen. Pete's also talked about Norwich North's environmental services. We've got a number of partner organisations. We're quite devolved in terms of what we do. And actually that's again another one of those challenges, is making sure that those people are on board with what we're trying to do, because we don't control everything. I was once told control is an illusion, and it's absolutely right. And we've already heard it from some of the earlier presentations about the importance of partnerships and working with other people, and that was very, very important in our implementation and one of our challenges along the way. What are we doing next? I mean, at the moment, really, we're in a bit of a sort of consolidation stage. So you see, we've not been live that long. We'd like to get Business Portal sorted out, some generic workflows sorted in there, so that actually we can kind of just replicate those time and time again for different types of service requests. And more generally, as a council, we're having a look at our entire kind of ICT architecture and structure and what we're going to be doing going forward, and having a look at how all of this is going to fit together as part of the future. I think this has already been covered today, but the library and obviously putting information in there. I've been in local government since the age of 19, so several years ago. Actually, I'm a great believer in sharing things amongst us. I had a conversation on the train here, the way here. We're not in competition with each other. With the commercialisation of some things, we might find ourselves in competition with each other. But for me, this is the sort of stuff where actually we can share and we can all benefit. And if somebody's already been through a bit of pain, and we can help take some of that away by putting something in the library, then that's a great place to be. We've had a number of people help us along the way. Pete's already talked about looking at other people's websites and looking at other people's forms, and on the way down, Pete said there's always a church street, there's usually a town hall or a city hall. You can find an address and you can create an account and work your way through there. You'll be pleased to know that's the final slide. I think we've got a few minutes for questions.
Hi, I'm Claire Wilkinson from Hounslow. Just curious to know, with the waste services, roughly how long did it take from thinking about it to actually implementing it?
So I told you that's all the answers.
To be honest, where's Richard? Was it 3 workshops, 3 days of workshops? We discussed
for about 5 days of effort.
Yeah, I think it's about having the right people in the room. And we, like everybody else, is undergoing a transformation process. One of the areas of waste services and our internal service areas were going under that transformation. We had a key member who was there, who could make decisions. We also had I think there's an operational director from our contractor in the room, and they were making decisions where it takes longer if you need to go away, and the more people are involved, and it was keeping it very, very slick. This is what we're going to do, and it was done. So if you've got people in the room that can make the decisions, then it's a lot quicker. But as I said, we had 5 workshops, and then the workflow. I think it's probably more effort for me because I had to amalgamate 5 forms in. I was given homework 5 forms into one, 8 forms into one, and if you've done XFP forms, it just takes a little while, but it was that effort. But we had people in the room, so the workflow was pretty slick. Forms, myself and a colleague, but it was not a long time. Street scenes was pretty quick. I mean, you can probably knock out workflow. If you know that it's all done on the diagram, the effort is on the diagram. It took a little while to get into that. The effort is on the diagram. On the screen, if you've got that, and you just load it into CXM, you just fill the boxes in. The effort is on the diagram, it's on the workflow. But if you've got people in the room that can make the decisions, but it's trying not to replicate what you already do, and that's the balance. Otherwise, it's just doing the same, but you're just putting a fancy front end on a crap on a rather rubbishy process.
I think the key point that Pete makes is about having the people who can make the decisions in the room and making sure they're empowered. And I think that's what we had through the project. We had a head of citywide services who was really bought into this, who gave his staff the authority, the enthusiasm, etc., to actually go into this and to make it work. And you know, a real opportunity for us to step forward in this. I know we need to conclude. I think the final thing I was just going to say is actually one of the benefits we've talked about is about sharing. You know, I'll make the offer. You know, if people want to see what we've done, talk about what we've done. You know, whether it's an email, whether it's a visit, whether it's a phone call. You know, we're happy to do that, and we know actually because that gets reciprocated, and we've made phone calls and visits and emails to other people, and there'll be people in the room who are ahead of us on this. There'll be people in the room who will be leapfrogging us soon on this sort of thing. And actually, you know, you can never stand still in this. So we know we kind of need you as much as hopefully you need us. Whatever the right way to say that is. So you know, we're always happy to be in touch and to share things because. We've learned a huge amount from other people along the way, and we know we've still got a lot of learning to do. So if anyone's got any good ideas, we're not too proud to steal them, borrow them, and share them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.